All right, well, thank you so much for still watching the People's Daily OGTV 25 UHF. Thank you so much for joining us on this segment of the program. We discuss here at this point in time on this program, New Dawn. My name is Abeokuta and this morning we are looking at an issue that we call a developing issue in Nigeria. It's about insecurity. If you look at the papers this morning, the front pages of papers this morning are again awash with stories of insecurity, all over the land. Vanguard, for instance, has this headline that says Catholic Anglican bishops attack FG, insecurity, terrorist gives Zamfara government 11-day ultimatum to pay 30 million naira death for death of his wife, 2 others, and some other papers too have some security issues on their front pages. But this morning we are staying in Imo, Southeast particularly. A particular video went viral last week, and that video has to do with some gunmen who went to a center, INEC center, where people were registering for the 2023 general election, and they disrupted the process, actually shot some people, and that video sent signals down the spines of everybody in Nigeria that next year's election may not actually hold in Southeast Nigeria. But we hope it's going to hold. We hope the federal government will swing into action and make sure that those fears are erased totally. This morning we have in the studio joining us 2 competent gentlemen to look at this issue. On my immediate right is Kaudi Aderemi. He's a legal practitioner of repute here in Ogun State. Good morning, Barrister Aderemi.
Good morning, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We have a public affairs analyst also joining us this morning, Mr. Mohammed Adebeshi. Good morning, Mr. Adebeshi.
Good morning, thank you.
Good to see you. Let's start with the lawyer in the house. The attack, the video, what message did he actually send to you when you saw it at first?
Well, the message he sent to me is as clear as what whoever was speaking in the background of the video was saying, that they meant business, that elections should not hold in that part of the country. Well, that's on one hand. On the other hand, for me, it was an overreaching way of speaking, because if major state institutions have started to be, are starting, they're getting to attack major state institutions, then we have cause to worry, in the country. For the first time, we've heard that a train was bombed in Nigeria. So these are deliberate attacks, of course, to sabotage, political fortune of the country. So seeing it made me cringe, in actual fact. Some folks have asked me that, why did I come back to Nigeria? Nobody chased me from where I was, But then I believe that some people just have to stay back to ensure that things are right, no matter how bad things seem to be. And I think I remember the likes of Mandela, who, despite all odds, stayed back in this country. I think he was incarcerated for about 27 years or so. He stayed back, and then the rest is history. So for me, that's another call on the government at all levels. Of course, I think we are overemphasizing, the place of the federal government, when it comes to insecurity or general, government responsibilities. It trickles down to the local government as well, because of course these problems, the causes of these things are very local. All right, they are not. Those guys are not angry because Buhari is Buhari. They're angry because of something happening deep down where they were, or where they are now, really. So it's all hands to be on deck, but most particularly the local government. I think I'll close on this note for that first question. That's why at times I may not always like the approach of Nyesom Wike. But that man is who you want to call daredevil in literature. He will tell you that you've been appointed local government chairman, you've been appointed chiefs, you've been appointed so and so, imams and pastors. If you fail, I will sack you. He will tell them to their faces. So you see everybody, rolling up their sleeves and getting to work. And he will tell them that if something happens, for example, there is an insecurity like we had in Abeokuta recently, where someone was, killed around the Klobo area. If it were weak here, for example, you could have said all the ballot, you could have someone of the ballots in that place, kill and woe. You know what are you looking at? So you have a lot of institutions really there to manage what we call a nation. That's why it is called community. Like someone said, like it's a measure of two words. Come, let's unite. Come, unity. That's what the word unity is. There. So it's everybody's business. So security is it's about one of the first of all the obligations of the government. If you check chapter 2 of the Constitution, so where that is threatened, then everything is threatened.
Mr. Adebeshi, let's look at it from this point of view. I know that you lived sometime in the past in that part of the country, and we also know that those government must also have some underlying grievances that made them do what they did, just like Barrister Aderemi actually said. Now, do you think that they are stronger than government, and that's why they continue with that effrontery?
I wouldn't agree that they are stronger than governments, because you cannot be stronger than the government who holds every legitimate authority to use the apparatus of states to enforce discipline. But I think the point is, when you have a situation where there is so much distrust and there's so much misinformation, there's bound to be this kind of what we call motivational speaker type of attitude. That they tell you, look in the mirror, if you see a lion, then you are a lion. Those kind of attitudes, those kind of attitudes come to play. Because if we take it back when the Olu incident first happened, that was last year, I think around August, when they burned down police stations and all that, and the military were deployed to take on Eastern Security Network, which is the military arm of IPOB. It got to, within a week, it got to a point where we were already saying, do you want to kill everybody in Southeast? Even Eastern Security Network came out and declared a kind of ceasefire, that they are not bringing about any violence, and we had some relative peace. But I think the thing is that injustice breeds this kind of things. If we go down this lane from 1967, when the issue of Biafra happened, and no victor, no vanquished, an average Southeasterner on the street feels that his part of the country is marginalized. And there's so much distrust between the North and the East, because the first military coup that were spearheaded by young Igbo chaps in the military that killed the Sardauna, killed the Akintolas in the Southwest, spared Azikiwe, and spared their leaders in the East. And since then, the North has had that premonition that, and this distrust, misinformation has played in. And if that has to be erased, I think I'm of the opinion that the Southeast, to be able to quell some of this misinformation, the Southeast should have should be given some kind of relevance in the political sphere.
Why has it been so difficult for successive governments in Nigeria, to totally quash these, over the years? We're talking about civil war, 67 to 70. That's like 50-something years ago.
Yeah, sure.
Now, those feelings are still there, Yeah. Why has it been difficult? We've had so many governments, We've had a northern leader, we've had a Yoruba leader. Maybe because we've not had a leader from this part of the country. Probably that's, but is that the reason? Is that enough justification?
Yeah, it's not enough justification, but you see, those who want to sow discord, they hit the nail on the soft part, on the part that appeals to the conscience of people. Even if you take a wider picture, it is not so. Because the elite, let me put it like that wants to cause mayhem, knows where to hit. If you tell an Easterner that an Igbo man has never been president, they refuse to make us president. But on the more pragmatic point of view, power is not served like meals at party. you have to consolidate, you have to have strong fronts, you have to make political moves and all that, and you have to get it, because the democracy is about numbers.
You have to earn it.
Yeah, you have to earn it. So if, like I was saying, that there's so much mistrust that would maybe make the northern political bigwigs to play with the southwest political bigwigs may not come that easy with politicians from the southeast, perhaps because of their political formation. Because maybe they've majorly been PDP or ABGA or whatever. But in the southwest, we've metamorphosed from AD to AC, to ACN, to APC. So perhaps maybe they are not very good political players. I wouldn't the political leader. But that aside, the issue we are talking about is the insecurity. I'm only saying that such feelings fuels, because I live in Port Harcourt, I grew up there, and I know what an average person feels on the street as an Igbo person, is that they are marginalizing us, and that is what he is made to believe. But in the actual fact, if you get Senate president, you have governors, you have all that, but still, like I said, the issue has to be that there are still facts of injustices.
Mr. Ade, the lawyer, sorry, I didn't actually get the name. Yeah. Somebody called in earlier on, John from Anambra State, and I asked to know why the killings, why the destruction and all that. And he actually mentioned all that you said: marginalization, no federal appointments, no this, no that, you know. So he said the people are unhappy, the people are bitter. And I've wondered, if the people are happy, if the people are not, they are agreed with the federal government, should it be destruction and killings? Should that be the way out?
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You know, let's even leave humans for now, and maybe take a cue from animals. You know, it is said that when you chase a goat or even a snake, and then they're backed up against the wall, by instinct you want to fight back. Let's leave animals like that. Yorubas have said that. Let's go to the much talked about ASU strike. Before unionists go on strike, I can confirm, being a lawyer, and I've been involved in some, you know, some levels of negotiation with, you know, in some before now, that strike comes as an option when virtually all other options have failed. There's negotiation. In fact, for example, when Johnson is like the judiciary staff union workers like that. Johnson, I interviewed their chairman in Ogun State. They had written at least 6 letters to the government. 6 at least. Not a single response was given. What do you do in that case? All right. So when people are pushed to the wall, remember that agitations, there's something we call provocation in law. If, for example, Biodun slaps me and I smash him back with his mug and I'm charged for assault, my defense in court would be I was provoked. That's provocation. Criminal code actually recognizes that. But when you look at it at a national scale, okay, still back to provocation. If Biodun slaps me at, this is 8:26 or thereabouts, and I go home and come back and smash him with a mug, that would not be provocation anymore, right? But if I retaliated immediately, it would be provocation. In other words, time is a difference. So even if it's 5 minutes difference or 10 minutes difference, time has passed. So that's where the doctrine of heat of passion comes in. Heat of passion is while I was still fuming, all right. But the difference would be if time has passed, then it will be premeditated. I could be charged for more than be convicted, all right. So blow this on a larger scale. Biafra happened over 50 years ago, as they have said. Why are people still angry? All right. So this is really not about provocation anymore. It's about having people so disgruntled. Let me ask you, I assume you're a journalist. I mean, when was the last time, for example, you were invited for a town hall meeting for the person representing you in your state constituency? When was the last time? The only time we see these guys are when elections are nearing. All right. But the proper thing ought to be, I've said it many times, at the national level, we have two strata. We have the Senate and the House of Representatives. I've always said that all lawmakers should have something like representatives in their name. I don't care how they couch it, because in actual fact, they are actually there to represent the people. So the way it ought to be done when these things were drafted or come up with is that the four of us would say, for example, we live around OGTV area. We have that. This is Obafe Awodi, I guess, right? So we have somebody in the state constituency. So the proper thing is to have a town hall, field our thoughts. Oh, you are living in Tirimi, you are living in Kobakwe, you are living in here and there. So we come up with our challenges. He collates them, takes them to the plenary at the House of Assembly, submit, and then they make deliberation. These are how laws are made. That's why if you look at one of the features of law, or characteristics of law for any law student to act in the country, one of it is popularity. In other words, it must resonate with the people. But that does not happen. There are some areas that politicians after election don't even bother visiting at all. One of them is Alagbagba. Alagbagba is a place, last time I checked, no network, no water, no light. A whole ward, all right, within other local governments. So we have people that have over the years felt marginalized, and that is the fact. Yeah, why am I not carrying guns, for example? I don't feel cheated yet. Yes, of course, gun carrying is not my thing. Of course, even if I feel cheated, gun is not what I will carry, but we can't react the same way. I've cited the example of animals. What they do is instinct, is basic instinct. Because you talk, they're not listening. Even my humble self, last year, we did some letters to the governor. Even years before, even previous administration, all right. When you're talking to somebody that's not deaf and dumb and is not responding, you feel like, what the heck? And remember, these guys are serviced by the people's money. All right. That's why I don't say thank you when a governor does rude, except he can tell me he did it with his salary, with his money. Right? It's the people's money, really. That's why he's there in the first place. Think of how much they get. They get whatever allowance, that allowance. It's difficult to even place the salary to start with, really. So the idea is you guys feel so comfortable so that you can have time for us. But the reverse is the case. So people are so much.
Don't you think they are the ones that will be losing at the end of the day? They are actually killing their kinsmen.
I like what US did when the Vietnam War and things started. That's when they came up with the word collateral damage. There would be damages. ASU have some ASU members have their students, their kids and wards in universities anyway, and they go on strike. So there would be, borrowing the words of the USA when there was, when they had that war, there will be collateral damage. Some people have to feel the pinch. Look, Abiola sacrificed his life, for example. Yeah, Mandela was in prison for 27 years. So some people would suffer. So until the government, and this thing ought not to be difficult, there is something realizable things that these guys want most times. Most times it's realizable, most times. Look at the Ogoni thing, for example. Why did Sarawiwa have to die the way he died? All right. You guys are coming to, explore oil, fossils and the likes on our lands. It is only commonsensical that you do not, because you are making money, as I don't want to mention the name of companies doing that, you kill our source of income. Those guys, their basic income was fishing, all right? But when you drill oil, of course it messes the waters, the rivers, all right? And fishes die. So that is impacting negatively their income. And you guys are saying, Ogoni Clash didn't start in one day. Stop this thing. Find a way to compensate us. That's just commonsensical, if you ask me, really. That's why if government, for example, wants to demolish houses, they pay compensation by the law. All right. But these guys kept crying until we had agitations. Now we have something called NDA, Niger Delta Avengers. It's so bad. That thing happened, it crystallized, it snowballed into that. It used to be pockets of grievances, and when not addressed, after a while, it becomes something that's mammoth, and it becomes a threat, a challenge, and it's growing. We used not to have, the spate of kidnappings and ritual killings like we have now today, But if things are not nipped in the bud when they started, it keeps on snowballing. Again, I'm sorry, running off on this point, I think, and I know in fact, that the problem is the government at all levels. I'm carried away, I'm not afraid saying this. It's not listening to the people. It's not listening to the people. I mean, we ask them questions, they just meet as if they are dumb and deaf at times, really. They have to come down, have what they ought to be town hall meetings. If your concern is security, you can be attacked during town hall meetings. What happens with Zoom? Can you be attacked online? They can't come and attack you online. Really, I mean, I'm talking of physical attack and assault, really. So listen to what people are agitating for, take it back to the plenary. That's how real laws are made. Not you just sitting down and them thinking that, oh, I think Odeda needs this one. Oh yeah, do it. I think no, the governor can be everywhere at every time. The governor doesn't feel what I feel in London anywhere I live. He has never been there as far as I'm concerned, since I've been living there. So he cannot, as much as the governor, feel what I'm feeling there. So to feel the people's pinch, have meetings with them. That's what ballets are there for. That's what councillors are there for. That's what lawmakers in states are there for. Thank you.
And that's why the commissioners too are there.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's begin. I think let's take it from the trajectory by Aderemi took it to, and that's specifically asking why has it been also difficult for Southeast leaders over the years, you know, to move between the people and the federal government and create a situation where the people begin to feel that we are not, our feeling of being marginalized is just feeling. It is not really real. You know, why has it been difficult for Southeast leaders?
Yeah, I think we first and foremost, the means of information dissemination on the part of the state and the leaders of the people are flawed on many levels. For instance, our perception of bad governance as a people, the masses view bad governance as a fault of the FG. Erroneously, it is not only the FG. A lot of things that the state governments are responsible for.
And the local governments too.
And they forget local government, those ones
they're not existing.
When there's, no, they exist in paper, but in actual, when lands are they in control of their funds? If you go around Abeokuta, for instance, our own constituency here, you go to Okeowu, Agogo, you see streets that are tarred. The interiors. Back then, when local government was still functioning.
Yeah.
I live in Ladere. Today in Abeokuta, Ladere is a prime area that you say, okay, elites live there. Just leave the express after immigration and get into Ladere after the government estate and check if anywhere is that. Only the trunk areas, the major roads, that are that. So it shows the death of the local government. They only pay salaries, and so I don't want to. That would be digressing to analyze it. So the perception is that when anything is bad, the masses looks at FG. But meanwhile, it trickles down. There are states in Nigeria, if not good states, that our GDP as a state is higher than some African countries. So we just look at states like handicaps. Lagos State, as it is, the GDP of Lagos State and the economic activity of Lagos State is more than Ghana. So it's like we have countries in country. But because this perception of everything boils down to federal government, I'm not absolving federal government of its own inefficiencies. It is gross. But it does not excuse the fact that even the states are hiding under. Now, so if you now go to the southeast, if you go to Abia, you see on the streets, you see failures that are not even failures of FG. Go to these places, they have governors, they have senators, they have allocations that come. Imo is oil producing, Abia is oil producing.
Anambra, what about Anambra?
Anambra, no, Anambra is not. Anambra is not.
Are you saying those the wealth of those states are enough for the governors or leaders of those states to actually suppress that feeling of marginalization by the people?
Sure.
Or maybe most of the leaders are also being mischievous.
It's a kind of spontaneous reaction that has multiplier effect. If the states had done, the state governors from time to time had lived up to expectation, issues will be left with issues that are related to FG. I don't think we have not been president of Nigeria is enough only reason to take up arms. It is multiplier effects. This one is not there, this one is not there, this one is not there, this one is not there. Then we should also not forget that when we are addressing issues of this, we have to balance it. There is also, crime is also a big business. So not everybody who comes out to take arms, that they are fighting a particular cause, is actually genuinely on that cause. Because just like the North, I can tell you on grapevine sources that this Boko Haram banditry thing, they are operating like a state machinery. People pay taxes to them in the North. In the Eastern Security, IPOB, they collect taxes, they collect market fare, they issue receipts. They make money.
If you listen to, I'm trying to flash back to that video. One of the guys actually said that look at those that we are suffering for, those that we are fighting for, we're defending, you know, and they actually gave them warning. They said, next time you come out, you know. Now, is it also in any way related to what are you saying that these guys are also sponsored by some big masquerade, some big men, you know, behind the scenes?
We can't rule out that because, like I said, that crime is big business. If we look inward, if we look at Ohanaeze Ndigbo, the Igbo Apex Sociocultural Organization, is distancing itself from IPOB and IPOB activities. They are also Igbo men. The governors and the representatives of the Southeast are distancing themselves from IPOB and IPOB related activities. The state government issues another it says IPOB says stays at home. The state government said go to work. But you know, this insecurity thing, if a government is not able to secure lives and property, people don't trust the government.
Is that not just on the surface of it? You know, government could also be saying that go to work, and
that's what I'm saying. That if people have lost trust in government, that's just the truth. That government can provide security for them, because when government says go out and IPOB says don't go out, and a lot of people don't come out, it's not only an issue. It's not only the issue of people that are afraid of IPOB. A lot of people are apologetic to the cause of IPOB.
The new governor of Anambra State, Soludo, you know, mentioned this as one of his key. He actually said that he will persuade IPOB to drop the gauntlet. You know, and do you think it's not just a lone voice in that area, or do you think he has what it takes to actually change things?
You see, the thing is, it's better we don't allow, how do I put it, we don't allow this kind of things to start. When Boko Haram was to start, it started as an agitation, sort of, in Borno, during the time of Modu Sharif. But today, it has snowballed. Those who started it, it has gone beyond them. And a lot of factions have seen the economic benefits beyond the actual agitation of staying on that course. Some have pledged allegiance to ISIS, some have pledged allegiance to different militant groups. We were not far long when, what's his name, Shekau, was asked to give allegiance to ISIS. ISIS, African, West African, ISWAP, yeah. And he refused. They killed him. So the Boko Haram led by Shekau has been overrun, and we have a new leadership. So that is how these things are. It is better we don't allow it to start.
Sorry, IPOB is actually Mr. Cowdy. IPOB is actually saying, no, we are not the one doing the killings this time around. It's just a particular person that is loyal to Mazi Kanu, you know. So